Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister. On the 10th day of Muharram, known as Ashura, lies a treasure of spiritual blessings, especially through the act of fasting. While the month of Muharram itself is among the sacred months in Islam, Ashura holds a particularly profound significance. The Prophet Muhammad emphasized fasting on this day due to its historical and divine importance. It's a day that reminds us of the victory of truth over falsehood, of Moses as over Pharaoh, and of unwavering faith that overcomes the most tyrannical oppression. The act of fasting on Ashura connects us not just to a specific moment in time, but to the legacy of all prophets who stood for justice and obedience to Allah. It is a simple, quiet act of devotion that brings with it immense reward, purification of sins, and a chance to be aligned with the very people whom Allah loved and supported in moments of trial. The story of Ashura dates back even before the time of the Prophet, F.E. When he migrated to Medina, he found the Jewish community observing fast on the 10th of Muharram, in remembrance of the day Allah saved Prophet Musa and his people from the tyranny of Pharaoh. Upon learning this, the Prophet declared that Muslims had more right to honor Musa, and he encouraged fasting on that day. In another narration, he said that fasting on Ashura expiates the sins of the previous year. Such a powerful reward for such a small deed reminds us of Allah's mercy and the ease He grants us in achieving His pleasure. This is not merely a ritualistic act, but a symbolic one. It carries within it layers of history, solidarity with the oppressed, and a reminder of Allah's deliverance for those who stay firm in faith. Ashura is not just a day, it's a timeless lesson. For the believer, Ashura is an invitation to connect with divine mercy. When we fast on this day, we are not only following the Sunnah, but we're also humbling ourselves before Allah and commemorating a day filled with miracles. It's a day that teaches us about endurance in the face of difficulty, trust in Allah when all seems lost, and the importance of moral clarity. When we remember that Prophet Musa has stood before the Red Sea, with Pharaoh's army closing in, and still believed in the help of Allah. Indeed, my Lord is with me. He will guide me, he said. That statement echoes across centuries, and when we fast on Ashura, we internalize that same faith. We say in action that we too trust in Allah's guidance and justice. In today's world of constant trials and uncertainty, Ashura is a spiritual anchor. Fasting revives the heart, sharpens the soul, and allows us to step back from worldly noise to hear the deeper truths. There's another powerful connection to Ashura that Muslims cannot overlook: the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, the beloved grandson of the Prophet Love. On this very day, in the scorching land of Karbala, truth stood against tyranny once more. Imam Hussain refused to bow to injustice and paid the ultimate price for upholding the truth. His sacrifice isn't just a Shia narrative. It is a lesson for all Muslims. It reminds us of the cost of righteousness, the value of honor, and the price of standing for what's right, even when left alone. The Hadith. While fasting on Ashura isn't directly linked to Karbala in Islamic law, the emotional and moral resonance of the day is amplified by remembering this tragedy. It's a time for reflection, mourning, and rekindling our spiritual and moral compass. The fast is not just for forgiveness. It's a quiet pledge to live with dignity, truth, and unwavering faith. Fasting on Ashura also brings a personal benefit: the forgiveness of minor sins committed in the past year. In a world where temptations are many and moments of heedlessness are common, this blessing is immense. Imagine carrying a heavy load on your back, and with one sincere day of fasting, that weight is lifted by Allah's mercy. This doesn't mean we should take sin lightly, but rather, it reveals how generous and forgiving Allah is to His servants. It's a moment to detox not just our bodies, but our hearts and intentions. The fast, done with sincerity and hope in Allah's reward, becomes a shield against future sin and a reminder of accountability. We emerge from Ashura renewed, not just spiritually, but also mentally stronger, more grateful, and more focused on our ultimate purpose in life: to worship Allah and follow the path of His beloved Prophet. The Prophet has recommended that we fast not only on the 10th, but also on the 9th of Muharram, to distinguish the Muslim practice from that of other religious groups. This shows us that Islam encourages thoughtful worship, actions that are meaningful, distinct, and conscious. When we fast on both days, we are not merely performing a ritual, but expressing love for the Prophet and a desire to follow his every instruction. This also reminds us that small acts can carry big spiritual significance when done with correct intention and sincerity. It is not always the big gestures that bring us close to Allah, but often the simple ones that are performed consistently. Fasting the 9th and 10th is easy for most, but the spiritual impact is profound. It is an act of quiet defiance against sin and forgetfulness, and a declaration that we choose Allah even when no one is watching. Ashura also reminds us that Islam is a religion deeply connected with history, justice, and the stories of those who came before us. From Prophet Nuh, whose ark is believed to have rested on Mount Judy on this day, to the freedom of Prophet Musa and the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. This day carries the echoes of monumental events. When we fast, we're not simply commemorating. We are aligning ourselves with the values these figures upheld. Their patience, resilience, and trust in Allah are not ancient lessons. They're living truths for today's Muslim. Whether we are facing personal challenges, community pressures, or global injustice, Ashura offers a reminder that Allah is always watching, always just, and always near to those who call upon Him. By fasting, we are spiritually saying, I belong to this legacy, I stand for what's right, and I seek Allah's help in all matters. One often overlooked blessing of fasting on Ashura is the feeling of unity it brings. Across the Muslim world, millions come together in devotion on this day. Whether fasting alone in a quiet home or partaking in communal remembrance in a masjid, believers share a bond that transcends borders, cultures, and languages. This spiritual unity is a powerful reminder that Islam is not just personal, it's global. Our struggles are shared, our hopes are common, and our history is intertwined. Ashura, in its quiet solemnity, unites us in humility before Allah and in hope for a better tomorrow. It strengthens our identity as Muslims and revives a sense of belonging to something greater than ourselves. In a time of so much division and confusion, this day offers clarity. Through fasting, we're reminded that no matter where we come from, we stand under one banner: La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. The physical act of fasting on Ashura also brings its own set of blessings. It purifies the body, instills discipline, and reminds us of our dependence on Allah for sustenance. Hunger, when experienced for the sake of Allah, becomes a teacher. It shows us how fragile we are, how temporary this world is, and how powerful our intentions can be. When we feel the pangs of hunger, We also remember the poor, the oppressed, and the hungry around the world. It softens our hearts, increases our empathy, and encourages charity. The day of Ashura becomes a training ground for becoming better humans, more patient, more kind, more aware. Every moment of fasting becomes an act of worship, from dawn till sunset. Every breath is a declaration of faith. And when the fast is broken, the dua that leaves our lips is not just heard, it is cherished by the Lord of the worlds. Another hidden blessing of Ashura is the chance it gives us to reflect on our personal battles. Just as Prophet Musa faced Pharaoh and Imam Hussain faced Yazid, we all face inner pharaohs, our ego, our desires, our pride. Fasting helps tame these forces. It brings us face to face with our weaknesses, but also opens the door to real transformation. Ashura is a time to ask, what am I standing for? What do I need to let go of? Who do I need to forgive? In silence and self-denial, we gain insight and clarity. It's a chance to restart. The fast becomes a turning point, not just an act of worship, but a declaration of who we wish to become. When we fast with this awareness, the blessings multiply. Allah sees the sincerity behind our efforts, and His mercy descends on those who strive even if they stumble. For parents and teachers, Ashura is a golden opportunity to pass on faith to the younger generation. Instead of letting this blessed day pass unnoticed, we can use it to narrate the stories of Musa, of Karbala, and of the importance of courage and faith. Children may not understand every detail, but they will remember the values: standing up for justice, trusting in Allah, and the beauty of fasting for His sake. Creating family traditions around Ashura, like fasting together, making special duos at iftar, or giving in charity, can leave a lasting imprint. We are not only fasting for our own sins to be forgiven, but also planting seeds of faith in hearts that will carry Islam forward. Ashura, when taught with love and wisdom, becomes more than just a date on the calendar. It becomes a legacy we pass down, one fast at a time, generation to generation. Ashura is a day drenched in meaning, mercy, and remembrance. Through fasting, reflection, and sincere intention, we unlock blessings that touch both our dunya and our akhirah. It is not just a religious practice, but a spiritual gift, a key to divine closeness, historical awareness, and personal growth. We honor the prophets, the martyrs, and all who stood with Allah on this day. And in doing so, we remind ourselves to stand firm too, in faith, in justice, and in obedience. Ashura calls us to a higher standard, to deeper reflection, and to the sweetness of patience and remembrance. May we not let this day pass as just another date. May we fast, remember, reflect, and emerge better, stronger, and closer to the one who created us. For on this day, more than any other, the doors of mercy are wide open, and to those who knock sincerely, they will never be closed. Ashura is not merely a day marked on the calendar. It is a living reminder of our connection to the prophets, our responsibility to uphold truth, and our need for divine mercy. Through fasting, we remember the trials of the past and prepare our hearts for the future. It's a chance to humble ourselves before Allah, to renew our commitment to righteousness, and to cleanse our souls with a single act of devotion. Whether we fast to honor the miracle of Musa or reflect on the sacrifice of Imam Hussain, the core message remains the same. Stand with truth, trust in Allah, and never waver in your faith. As the sun sets on Ashura, and we raise our hands in dua, let us ask Allah to forgive our sins, strengthen our iman, and guide us through every Pharaoh and Karbala we may face. Because when you fast on Ashura, you're not just abstaining, You're aligning your heart with heaven,